Imagine receiving up to $2,710 in your Social Security check just in time for Christmas. Sounds like a holiday miracle, right? Well, for some recipients, this is exactly what's happening on December 24th, as Social Security payments are coming early this year. But there's more to the story than just this surprise payout. In today's video, we'll dive into the latest updates about Social Security, including why these Christmas Eve payments are happening, the controversial proposal by Senator Mullen to reform Social Security, and the glaring disparity between the pay raises Congress members are getting while millions of Americans on Social Security continue to struggle. Stay tuned to find out how these changes could affect your benefits and what's really going on behind the scenes. Welcome to Financial Area, your trusted source for up-to-date financial news and insights. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an important update. This year, Social Security recipients are getting a holiday bonus in the form of an early payment, with some individuals set to receive up to $2,710 on December 24th, just in time for Christmas. The reason for this early disbursement is simple. Christmas Day falls on a Wednesday, and the Social Security Administration typically doesn't make payments on federal holidays. Instead of waiting until the 25th, they've moved the payment date to the 24th, ensuring that recipients won't be left without their check over the holiday weekend. The amount of the payment varies based on the recipient's specific benefit level. Some will see the maximum payout of $2,710, while others will receive a different amount, depending on how much they've contributed to the system throughout their working life. This payment isn't a flat sum for everyone. It's tailored to each individual's history of Social Security contributions. For many, this early check provides a much-needed financial boost just before the holidays, offering a sense of relief as they head into the new year. However, not everyone will receive the maximum payment. While $2,710 is the largest possible payout, the amount a person receives is influenced by several factors, including their work history, how long they've been contributing to Social Security, and their filing status. But for those who do qualify for the full amount, this check could make a huge difference, particularly as they head into the more expensive months of winter when heating bills and holiday expenses can add up quickly. For many, this early check is not just an early holiday gift, but a critical financial lifeline. In this context, the timing couldn't be more important. The end of the year is often when many people feel the weight of rising costs, and Social Security recipients are no exception. With inflation eating into the purchasing power of fixed income, this check comes as a welcome relief for those who rely on their benefits to cover their daily expenses. The anticipation surrounding the Christmas Eve payout is significant, offering both financial relief and a reminder of the importance of these monthly checks for millions of Americans. Senator Mullen's recent proposal to reform Social Security has stirred up significant debate, with his suggestion that benefits should only go to those who have contributed to the system. The core idea behind this proposal is to address what he sees as a growing issue of fraud and to preserve the financial stability of the Social Security program. Mullen argues that Social Security should be reserved for people who have paid into the system through payroll taxes over their working lives. By limiting the benefits to only those who have contributed, he believes the program will be able to continue without risking bankruptcy, especially as the number of beneficiaries continues to rise while the number of workers contributing into the system declines. Supporters of the proposal argue that it could prevent misuse of the program and ensure that Social Security is better funded in the future. They point to reports of fraudulent claims, and some feel that tightening the rules could reduce unnecessary spending and ensure that only those who are truly eligible are receiving benefits. This, they argue, would also help ensure the program's longevity, which is increasingly important as the population ages and the ratio of workers to beneficiaries continues to shrink. However, the proposal has received significant backlash, with many opponents raising concerns about its potential to harm vulnerable groups. Critics argue that the measure would unfairly exclude people who are in need but might not have had the opportunity to contribute to Social Security, such as individuals with disabilities, those who've been primary caregivers for family members, or those who've faced long periods of unemployment due to unforeseen circumstances. For example, someone who spent many years caring for a sick parent or a child with special needs may not have had the chance to contribute to the system, yet they may still need Social Security to survive in their retirement years. Additionally, there are concerns about the broader implications of such a policy. Social Security has always been seen as a safety net for all Americans, especially for the elderly and disabled, and many fear that limiting benefits could leave millions without the assistance they need to survive. Critics argue that while fraud should certainly be addressed, this proposal might be too broad and punitive, cutting off essential support for people who've had their own unique challenges but are still deserving of help. The idea of narrowing eligibility also raises questions about fairness, as some would argue that Social Security is a program that should be available to all who need it, not just those who fit into a specific category. In the eyes of many, it represents a commitment to society's most vulnerable populations, regardless of how much they've contributed. The reality of this proposal could result in a system where fewer people are eligible for benefits and the amount they receive may be severely diminished, especially for those who fall into these more marginalized categories. Furthermore, critics argue that this reform might only exacerbate existing inequalities. People with less stable work histories, whether because of the gig economy, caretaking responsibilities, or economic hardship, are already struggling to make ends meet. To potentially exclude them from the Social Security program could further entrench poverty, particularly among the elderly, who may already be living on fixed, often insufficient incomes. As a result, the debate surrounding Mullen's proposal is far from one-sided, with powerful arguments on both sides about the future of Social Security and who should benefit from it. While Senator Mullen's proposal to reform Social Security is certainly stirring debate, another issue gaining attention is the growing disparity between congressional pay raises and the financial struggles faced by many Social Security recipients. Over the years, members of Congress have seen their salaries rise, with significant increases being made during times when many Americans, especially seniors and those on fixed incomes, are struggling to make ends meet. In contrast, Social Security payments have often remained stagnant or have seen only minimal increases that barely keep pace with inflation. This has led many to question the fairness of the system and whether Congress is truly in touch with the needs of the people they represent. Recent salary increases for Congress have raised eyebrows, especially at a time when many Social Security recipients are finding it harder than ever to get by. For instance, while lawmakers are getting raises that push their salaries into the six-figure range, the average Social Security check remains significantly lower, often not enough to cover even basic living expenses like rent, utilities, and groceries. This disparity has fueled a sense of frustration among many who feel that Congress is out of touch with the reality of living on Social Security. The issue is particularly sensitive in light of ongoing debates about the future of Social Security. If lawmakers are pushing for cuts or reforms to the program, claiming that it is financially unsustainable, it seems almost hypocritical to some that they would continue to vote themselves raises while millions of Americans, including retirees and disabled individuals, struggle to get by on insufficient benefits. This has led to widespread criticism of the growing gulf between the pay and benefits for Congress members and those for everyday Americans who rely on Social Security to survive. Adding fuel to the fire is the stark contrast in how Congress has responded to its own financial concerns versus those of Social Security recipients. While Congress moves quickly to pass bills that benefit them personally, such as pay raises and generous benefits packages, Social Security recipients often find themselves waiting years for modest increases that barely make a dent in rising living costs. For many, this situation feels like a betrayal, as their elected officials seem more concerned with their own financial well-being than with the needs of the citizens they were elected to represent.